Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this one is another tragic story that's straight out of Macomb, Illinois. And there is a certain caveat to this particular story that has a relationship with the Sonia Massey case that has recently made national news. And I did a video about it where Miss Massey called the police thinking there was a burglar in her neighborhood by her place. And the police came, and unfortunately they entered her house. They were talking to her, and a white male cop shot Miss Sonia Massey in the face while she was in her own house and kitchen over a boiling pot of water. And this one is about a young boy, 4 years old, where the Macomb, Illinois police fatally shot a 4-year-old. And his family and the Massey family knew each other well. I don't think there's a conspiracy between the two, but I think it's showing you that we have some rogue cops in the state of Illinois that need to be removed from our police departments. So we got 2 deaths. Sonia Massey died, and then this 4-year-old boy got shot by an officer, and they did not charge him. So here we go. Bodycam video shows fatal police shooting of 4-year-old Illinois boy and man holding him hostage. Body camera video was released this week of a March 16th police shooting that killed an Illinois man and a 4-year-old boy he was holding hostage. Macomb police released the edited video on Monday after a special prosecutor said he had found no basis to charge the officers involved, whom the police department identified as Lieutenant Nick Gock and Officer Corey Cameron. The officers were placed on leave, a standard procedure. The shooting stemmed from a domestic violence incident at an apartment in Macomb on March 16th. Family members identified the child who was killed as Terrell Marshawn Miller. His mother, Kiana Miller, remembered him as a smart and amazing child who loved Spider-Man. "He was my pride and joy," she said. "I knew if he would have had a chance to grow up, he would have helped change the world." So let's follow the story. Officer Gock and Cameron responded to the residence just after 10 p.m. after police received multiple 911 calls, the police department said. One caller had said they believed they heard gunshots. The officers found blood smeared on the wall of the building's stairwell, the body camera video shows. Police knocked on the apartment's door, announced their presence, and ordered the occupants to open up, police said. After the officers heard a woman screaming for help and saying, "He's stabbing me," they forced entry into the apartment. The woman is seen in the video running into a living room area. She tells the officers that her son is in another room, the video shows. The child is heard screaming. The officers orders the female with injuries out of the house to safety. Police said in the narrated body camera video, what happens next transpires in a matter of seconds. The attacker, who is naked and holding a knife in his left hand, dashes into a room and reappears seconds later with a second knife holding the child hostage. Police said the man had one knife by the child's throat and the other by the child's waist. One of the officers fired a single shot, the video shows, striking the man and the child. Police rendered aid and called for medical personnel, but the man and the child died at the scene. So this man the boyfriend was assaulting the mother. She gets away. The police come and they get her to safety. She's injured. And now the boyfriend is holding her son hostage and naked. So it says that one of the The Miller said she had arrived home. This is what the mother said. She had arrived home after visiting family to find her boyfriend, Anthony George, intoxicated, authorities said. She said she put her son to bed and tried to get George to go to bed so he could sleep off his intoxication. But he comes in the room and he leans in like he's going to kiss me, and he said, "If I can't have you, nobody can," she said, according to authorities. And then he pulled out a knife and put it to her throat. Authorities said Miller said that she tried to talk to George, hoping to calm him down, but that did not work. She said he raped her and took the knife and began cutting her back. Terrell, who heard the commotion, this is the 4-year-old son, in his mother's room, knocked on the bedroom door, they said, adding that Miller told them George told her to put Terrell back to bed. Miller told authorities that, seeing an opportunity to escape, she grabbed her son and fled out of the back door of the apartment. She said George heard her trying to flee when Terrell tripped down the stairs, authorities said. Miller was reported to have said George came after them and began stabbing her in the hallway of the building as she screamed for help. She said he then dragged her back into the apartment. Police arrived a short time later. Authorities said in a March 18th news release that the man had refused to comply with multiple commands to drop his weapon, and that police were fearing for their safety when the officer fired. Now remember, he has 2 knives in his hand, he's naked, and he has a 4-year-old boy he's holding. How are the officers threatened? But if the person that's threatened is the 4-year-old boy. But attorney Marlene Suarez, who is representing Miller, questioned why police did not try to de-escalate the situation. She says there was no de-escalation, no negotiations. She said at a news conference on Monday, "I find it hard to believe that in the heat of that moment, he did not stop and think." This is a police officer. "I don't know what made him think he could make that shot." Suarez said the shooting happened about 16 seconds after police forced entry into the apartment. She said the officer's bullet hit Terrell in the head, that's the 4-year-old, and struck George in the neck. So the officer fired a shot the 4-year-old boy in the head, and then shot the aggressor, George, in the neck, killing both of them. Kiana Miller told them she was adamant as she was being taken out of the apartment. Her baby, her son, was still back in there, Suarez told the reporters. So they were well aware that there was a child back there in the bedroom. The shooting was investigated by the Illinois State Police and then turned over to the McDowell County State's Attorney's Office. The state's attorney's appellate prosecutor determined that the officers would not be charged. In a letter to the county state's attorney on July 8th, Special Prosecutor Jonathan Bernard said that after having reviewed evidence, he found that there was no basis for any criminal action or prosecution that is supportable under the facts of this case against any of the officers involved in this tragic accident. The Illinois State Police directed questions to the county state's attorney's office and the appellate prosecutor, who did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Miller, the mother, who sustained multiple stab wounds, said the officer who fired the weapon needs to go to jail. An internal police investigation continues. The officers could not be reached for comment at phone numbers listed for them. Attorney Suarez, says she plans to sue, saying the family believes the police officers acted recklessly. And, as I said earlier in the video, this family also knew Sonia Massey. Miss Kiana Miller also in another statement said that she knew Sonia Massey. And here we have another incident inside someone's home, even though this was a domestic violence issue where this boyfriend was attempting to murder his girlfriend and subsequently hold hostage and attempt to harm her son. the son ends up, the police, instead of de-escalating, negotiating, within 15 seconds, a police officer fires a shot that shoots the 4-year-old in the head, and the bullet travels through and hits the perpetrator in the neck, killing both of them. So my question is, why, if that was the case, why would you try not to negotiate? If you're that nervous, this man is holding a 4-year-old baby. He supposedly has 2 knives. I don't know how he does that with 2 hands. He's got the baby in one hand, and how does he have 2 knives, one at his neck and then one at his stomach? That doesn't make any sense to me. But why? And then if the officer needed to fire his weapon to get the man to let the little boy go, why not shoot him in the leg? How do you you practice shooting as a police officer. How do you shoot the 4-year-old in the head? It's a little bitty kid. It's not a grown man head. It's a small person. It almost makes you think that he directly wanted to shoot the boy, or didn't care, or had a certain high level of callousness that he didn't shoot the man first and it traveled through and hit the boy. The 4-year-old got shot in the head and the bullet traveled and hit the man in the neck and killed both of them. This seems like hyperbolic egregiousness and aggressiveness and callousness. With that same thing had taken place if that was a white child and a white man, that question begs for an answer. When you have a scenario again and again and again where a white police officer has contributed to the shooting death of a 4-year-old black little boy. I don't like playing the race play game, but I do think that sometimes when you have these scenarios and there's a level of hubris and egregiousness and a quick movement to shoot, it seems like there is always this high propensity of white male officer, typically in his 20s, 30s, or early 40s, and shooting a black victim. That happened in the Sonia Massey case, and now you have this 4-year-old in Macomb, Illinois, who died back in March from a gunshot from a police officer. Not an everyday criminal. The young man was holding the kid hostage, and where is the de-escalation and negotiations? Where is the humanity in the police officer to see that this man has his 4-year-old child and to try to do any kind of mediation for that man to let that child go? But within 16 seconds, you decide to shoot and kill both of them. That is a tough one for me to swallow. What is going on in the state of Illinois with all these rogue police officers? Chicago has a terrible problem, social cultural issues that are taking place with gun violence, the migrant crisis, vacancies, commercial real estate vacancies, etc. And now you're seeing in Springfield, Illinois, with Sonia Massey, Macomb, Illinois, with this 4-year-old little boy, Terrell Miller, who got killed at the hands of the police. What are we doing? Tell me what you think of this case. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.